Hello, 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 you guys. Welcome to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson, where we have difficult conversations around accountability that affect, well, issues, should I say, that affect the Black, Brown, and melanated communities in America and abroad. Tonight, I wasn't even gonna do this topic, and just a moment ago, I saw that the official urban therapist appears to be covering the same topic. I'm glad he's talking about it. I'm glad somebody is actually talking about it. Hey Lone Wolf, how are you? I think Mario J sent me this video, and he is the content creator of Tough Love Podcast, and he does video cast. He has a station on YouTube, a channel on YouTube, and I was kind of floored. I was taken aback when I saw it earlier today, and I thought to myself, like, okay, I probably need some time to just kind of sit with and process what I am hearing, from this young lady. Um, Especially given the gravity of the work that I do, right? And considering what I sit with all day. I sit with young men and women who are going through the process of healing, psychotherapy, for very similar issues. And oftentimes you see this type of behavior when people first come to therapy because they're like, they may present and say that the number one problem that I have is that my family is in my business. And, I've noticed that that's a centralized theme. I've seen that so frequently. So I kind of want to have the conversation from a therapeutic lens and talk about the prevalence of this issue because here is the other thing. The other piece is, as a psychotherapist, a lot of people don't understand that our clients have certain privileges. So when you're having conversations with us, those particular conversations, your identity as it relates to the conversations that you have with us, whether you may or may not be engaged in illegal activity and things like that, whatever it is that you're doing, we have doctor patient privilege, right? So everything that you say is 100% confidential, within the therapeutic context, right? The only time that we are given the privilege to release information is when you have a direct threat that you've made against the life of someone else. And so now you're homicidal and we have a specific target. So you told us who the intended target is, and we can now reach out and we have to make contact with them because that's our duty to warn. But if you are committing crimes on a continuous basis, if this is kind of what you're doing, but you're not, if you're reporting this stuff after you've done it already, there is no intended target, right? Um, of any type of abuse. And oftentimes we have the whole mandated reporter report thing, right? And so if we don't have a particular person that you've afflicted this level of violence on, if we don't have a particular person to identify as the um, victim in those instances, we also don't have not only the authority, but we don't have what we need to even make those reports. So, having been a person who clinically treats people who are sexual predators, um, and other people who embody sexually predatory behavior in their narratives that they enter into therapy discussing. When I saw this content, I was a little bit disturbed. And to be honest with you, I feel like that's a bit of an understatement because I wasn't a little bit disturbed. I was a lot disturbed. Even on a personal level, I felt like, okay, this is definitely a trigger for a couple of reasons. So there was a young lady that I knew in my younger days, right? Coming up as a young adult. And this young lady happened to be exposed to a very similar if we're not going to call it the exact same situation. Um, the man who was responsible for raising her when she was a very young girl, I think she was maybe like 8 years old when she came under the care of this man and his wife. Um, her best friend, this was their parents. And it was always very disturbing for me coming around the situation. Um, just knowing that, the behaviors of this young girl, especially as she reached her teen years and things like that, I would ask some questions like, why are you so comfortable with leaving your husband around her? You know, because he was very suspicious to me. He was an entire creep. He kind of embodied the all of the makings of a creep, literally. But hey, she married him, right? And had kids with him. So, one would think like you have a child that is literally the same age as this young girl, right? Not only that, you as a man have children that are also older than this young lady. And so after you have raised this child for a set length of time, you really would think it's okay. You really would think it's okay for you, who is now this grown man, to have this type of relationship with this young lady. I just, I don't know. I just, it kind of gave me negative vibes. But I would always say, what if he's having sex with this girl? This is something I would mention to my husband. And I was just like, I just don't really feel comfortable. Like, I don't want our kids around him. I don't care if he's your stepdad or not, right? So for me, it was very weird for me, that whole experience. So hearing this story brought back remnants of that, because in the aftermath of that, once this young lady became of age and she was 18, I want to say maybe 19, he married her. After divorcing his wife. So just imagine being someone who has raised this child, not only raised this child, but this child has been your daughter, right? And this has been your husband, and you have poured life into her, and you've raised this child um, as your own. And your husband then takes up and marries her. Yeah, I was disgusted. Still am, He's now dead, and that's life. But I'm still disgusted equally. So hearing this young lady and hearing her kind of rant about how she felt about people commenting on the situation of her marrying her godfather, who is her mother's ex beau. And to hear him in the background, I can definitely say that I was completely taken aback and very much disgusted. But it also makes me wonder, like, why aren't we having these conversations with our young people, like when they're becoming of age? So why are we not sitting down, having the conversation about sexual predators? What do they call it nowadays? Stranger danger, but sexual predators in the family system, the possibility of people being very sexually inappropriate in your family, you know? people doing things, touching you inappropriately, good touch, bad touch. Why are we not having more of those conversations and conversations about relational appropriation? So it's not so much of the age difference for me, but it's my disgust is around the fact that this man raised this young girl as his daughter. So when you've raised someone as your daughter and then you go back and you have sex with them, I just have a problem with that. Um, hey Bernice, how are you? I hope I got that right. So it's a little, it's disgusting. It's not a little disgusting, it's a lot of disgusting. So I'm gonna let you guys sit with and watch the content, and you let me know what you think. Um, I'm gonna rewind it so we can go back to the picture, because the picture tells everything. Like literally, this is you and your husband when you were a baby. This is you and your husband together when you were a baby. So I'm not sure. Hmm. I'm just not sure where that seems like it's okay to her even. That's them.
Me and my husband ain't going nowhere. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't give two fucks at that, not even one, about y'all opinions. Y'all on here talking about, oh, I'm just stating my opinion. I'm just stating my opinion. I'm just stating. It don't mean shit to us. So why the fuck waste your time and energy and your motherfucking time out of the day and your life to sit up here and keep on saying that's your opinion. We don't care. At the end of the day, everything is done. We're legally motherfucking married. I'm 18. I'm grown now. Talking about, oh, you just a baby. I'm 18, bitches. I moved out my mama's house when I was 16. 16. 16. Fucking 16. What did I do? Get a job. Get a job.
So it's this for me. It's this for me. Right, Vernice. Right. So it's this part for me. So you're bragging about having moved out of your mother's house at 16. This man got you pregnant. This man who is your father. He was your father literally. He got you pregnant and you had to move out of your mom's house at 16 because they're no longer together in a relationship. So, and you had to get a job. I could halfway understand this. If this man was doing what men do. Men are responsible for providing for you. So on so many levels this is so wrong. And the fact that you think it's okay for you to lay down with, to have sex with somebody that your mother is having sex with. Somebody that is raising you to be a young lady. Right. See, and here's the thing. I said that I would understand this if this situation were one where, there was just an age gap. But we're not just talking about an age gap. We are talking about this man was your father, ma'am, and he had a baby with you when you were. I'm curious about her mother, because here's the thing: your 15-year-old daughter is pregnant by this man that you were in a relationship with. What the? He's beyond. You said wrong. Also, he's the predator. He's the predator. What do you mean also? Like, he's wrong, period. He's obviously groomed this baby. So her pain, when she's talking, you hear all trauma. This is all trauma. This is all pain. This is all confusion, because what she's been conditioned to believe is right is now wrong on so many levels. And it's so many, I think there are so many levels to this. There are so many levels to this. But come on, let's finish listening to her.
Pregnant and all, working. Pregnant, fucking working at 16 with no motherfucking.
Pregnant and all and working. And pregnant and all and working at 16. You're pregnant by your father and you're working, and you act like that's an accolade. What are we doing to our babies?
Buddy, I ain't had nobody. My mama was a druggie. Nobody, never had nobody. I'm not saying this to show to have no sympathy or looking for sympathy. Nobody sympathizing with me. This is not.
Ma'am, so if your mother was a druggie, what the fuck does that make him? That was the man in her life.
What it's for. I'm just letting y'all know that I don't give a fuck about y'all opinions. It don't mean shit to me. It don't, because at the end of the day, everybody have a life to live. Okay, so what? He's 46, not 50. Thank you. He's 46. Half of y'all motherfucking mammies he probably fucked half of y'all motherfucking peoples. Probably fucked your mammies. And you got y'all daddies mad, and some of y'all motherfuckers mad at him because he on his shit and we both on our shit. And the fuck? Y'all just mad because I'm happy. Deja always gonna be happy. No, y'all hoes thought that I wasn't never gonna be shit because of my past. That's what the fuck y'all thought, and I proved y'all wrong. That's why y'all hoes really mad. But at the end of the day, that shit ain't even worth it, because at the end of the day, I'ma do me. We gonna do us. I'ma continue wear this motherfucking rock on my finger, and I don't give a fuck what a bitch gotta say.
You know, I don't think I have the adequate words for that. I don't think I have the adequate words for that. But trauma can look a lot of ways. Okay. The fact that you've groomed this woman to this point, when from a clinical lens, when I'm looking at that, like I've seen a lot of Stockholm syndrome. When I say that is the most clear cut textbook case. Right. Right. Beyond young and naive. Like, so it's one thing. Here's the thing, Vernice. It's one thing to be naive, and it's a whole nother thing to be completely ignorant. What we see in this video is a young lady that is completely ignorant. Her narrative is very, very clear that there is pain there, because obviously somebody has told her in her family system that, okay, what you're doing is wrong, right? So this is not right, okay? Even though they probably didn't do what they should have done, which is filed charges. At the point where he has a whole child inside of her body, and she's 16 years old, which is below the age of consent, and you know that this man has fathered this child, or you assume it, file charges. Even if her mother was in and out and off and on of drugs, right? You file charges and you let the cops deal with that part, right? So that at least then the child is enough evidence of statutory rape, right? Why does this keep happening in our families, in our systems, to our children? What are we doing to our children? Like, where are we missing the mark completely? As mothers, I would think that it's your main objective to protect your young child. I just really would think that, right? But I realize that some mothers don't have what it takes or what they need in order for them to be positive role models or positive impacts in their children's lives, right? I'm not going to say good mother or bad mother because I really don't believe in that. I really believe like people are people, right? And we do what it is that we do. And sometimes those things work out in the end and sometimes they don't. But to put your children through this, it happened in Florida, I believe. Um, to put your children through this though, it's a whole nother thing. And I think that it happens more often than not. Okay. It happens more often than that not. And I feel like it's such a normative thing. Like we've normalized it that it's no longer even disgusting. The fact that she thinks it's a prize that her father basically has gotten her pregnant and that she has now moved out from underneath her mom's roof, right? While pregnant with his child, and she think that it's a good thing for her to have to work while pregnant at 16 by this man. There are no words. There are no words. Um I just got to say like you guys, we have to recognize when we're broken. We have to recognize when we're broken. And more importantly, we got to recognize when our brethren is broken. We got to recognize when our people that we are connected by school, work, whatever, we got to recognize when they're broken. When you hear this young lady talking from the very onset, when she begins, you know that she's broken. Look at her. Like if you go back and you say, "Oh, this is when I was a baby and this is my husband too."
Me and my husband ain't going nowhere. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't give two. I don't.
Go back. This is my husband and I. This is my husband and I when I was a baby. How can you say that? How can you say that? How can you say that and feel okay with what comes next? Me and my husband not going nowhere. This is me and my husband when I was a baby. Sweetheart, let me tell you something. This is the mindset of a regular woman that is healed, not broken. That's not broken. Okay. The mindset of that woman at the point where that man gets you pregnant. And I would pray, I can only pray that she doesn't have a daughter. I can only pray. Because here's the thing. Just like he started to prey on you, and just like he started to have sex with you and groom you from a baby up, and you were pregnant by 16, okay, 15, 16, when do you think he's going to groom your daughter or your son? Because we don't know. Maybe he has a fluid appetite for children. It's possible.
Me and my husband ain't going nowhere. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't give two fucks at that. Not even one about y'all opinions. Y'all on here talking about, oh, I'm just stating my opinion. I'm just stating my opinion. I'm just stating. It don't mean shit to us.
And this is an opinion.
So why
this
the fuck waste your time and energy and your motherfucking time out of the day and your life to sit up here and keep on saying it? That's your opinion. We don't care. At the end of the day, everything is done. We're legally motherfucking married. I'm 18. I'm grown now. Talking about, oh, you just a baby. I'm 18, bitches. I moved out my mama's house when I was 16. 16.
But we can't confirm that.
Fucking 16. What did I do? Get a job. Get a job.
Allegedly, the mother
pregnant
was
and all working.
And
pregnant. Fucking working. At 16 with no motherfucking body. I ain't had nobody. My mama was a druggie. Nobody, never had nobody. I'm not saying this to show to have no sympathy or looking for sympathy. Nobody sympathizing with me. This is not what it's for. I'm just letting y'all know that I don't give a fuck about y'all opinions. It don't mean shit to me. It don't, because at the end of the day, everybody have a life to live. Okay, so what? He's 46, not 50. Thank you. He's 46. Half of y'all motherfucking mammies he probably fucked half of y'all motherfucking peoples. Probably fucked your mammies. And you got y'all daddies mad, and some of y'all motherfuckers mad at him because he on his shit and we both on our shit. And the fuck? Y'all just mad because I'm happy. Deja always gonna be happy. No, y'all hoes thought that I wasn't never gonna be shit because of my past. That's what the fuck y'all thought, and I proved y'all wrong. That's why y'all hoes really mad. But at the end of the day, that shit ain't even worth it, because at the end of the day, I'ma do me. We gonna do us. I'ma continue wear this motherfucking rock on my finger, and I don't give a fuck what a bitch gotta say.
Oh, Miss Sandy, her mother failed her. Her whole system failed her. And even if her mother was a drug addict, let me tell you something. I know plenty of women who are drug addicts, and somehow they still manage to protect their girls, protect their young boys from sexual abuse from a potential partner, predator. I have been treating sexual predators in therapy. I have been treating them, the abusers, in therapy for literally the last 11 years as a specialty. Okay. I find that it's what's more disturbing is that to understand the pathology of the abuser, to have that understanding and to see things like this, to be able to see it panning out and to see the outcome in a situation like this makes it more impactful, more disturbing, I would say. Because to know the mind and to understand the pathology of the human mind that is sick in that way, that finally realizes that they need to heal after having done some, these types of things, and to know that there is still a person out there that is actively preying on young women, on a young child from infancy, and it develops into such a severe case to where this young lady is advocating for him and he's cheerleading in the background. It's just something very disturbing about that. Okay. It's just, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. I don't know. She's not coherent or making sense. She's not able to use her words. Right. She can't use her words because she's traumatized and she doesn't even know it. Has no idea. No idea. I've met several real drug addicts. It's a clinical specialty. Substance use disorder is a very impactful thing. Believe it or not, people have the tendency to believe that people that struggle with substance use disorders are never coherent. Just because they take everything in your house and clear it out and go sell it for drugs, and they are willing to go back and forth to jail for drugs, and they are willing to put things at risk, every once in a while they have a glimmer of hope, because every once in a while they find something, and it's typically their children. They find something that causes a certain level of ambivalence inside of them, and because it's an addiction, because it's a disease, they can't prevent themselves from using, but there are certain behaviors, contrary to popular belief, that these people find to give them some level of stability, to anchor them and have them come one step closer to not relapsing. You understand what I'm saying? So I've seen several people recover from substance use disorder and dependency. Several people. It's a conscientious decision, but it takes ambivalence. And typically that ambivalence is built upon having something that you now believe in that's greater than the life that you're living, that's greater than you, that's greater than that next high. Because the reality is they're not looking for the next high. People become addicted because they're looking for that first high. They're looking for the initial high and they never can get it, which is why they end up one upping and one upping and one upping until they are now dead. So it's a process. You know, there are levels to addiction, and you have to you have to understand the pathology. But when they have children, they don't just go out here and put their kids in harm's way. Hey Liz, how are you? But she's hurt, you know, her words. I just, you know, excuse me, I just mm-mm. So this is sexual abuse. I feel like oftentimes single mothers are dating men who are pedophiles. And I feel like single mothers are doing it blindly, turning a blind eye, maybe willfully sometimes. But like the story that I told you guys in the very beginning of this live, and if you guys didn't hear it, go back to the very beginning. Much like that, sometimes it's happening right in front of us, and we have absolutely no idea that it's going on. But you can't raise. Here's the thing: being a father, there is a difference between being a dad, biological dad, right? Contributing your sperm to the production of a child, okay? That initial zygote, right? It's a difference between that and being a father. Being a father means being there. That means standing in and fulfilling the role of molding, cultivating, and shaping another human being that you are responsible for. Okay? To do that and then to go and insert your penis inside of that human being, it's morally wrong and ethically wrong, and it's illegal. So someone should have definitely contacted the authorities. I'm well. Somebody should have done that. We have to do our due diligence. We've got to do better. You know, we've got to make better choices. And when we see our family members and friends making poor choices, we have to make sure that we point that out. Because if we are not the people that's pointing that out, if we are the ones that are turning the blind eye, then we are the real problem. So, you know, I have lost relationships. Like I have women that I have been friends with for years. Okay. More than 15 years sometimes. All right. And we've had arguments because the thing is, I'm one of those friends that's very honest. I'm a family member that's very honest. I believe in cutting you off when you are toxic. And when I say I believe in cutting you off, I believe in cutting you off. So I will read your ass, literally, line for line for line for line, and let you know what it is that I stand for. Because what it is that you're doing is something that is universally ethically wrong, right? Because I have some beliefs that are they're just my personal beliefs, my opinions. But there are some things that are just wrong, period. And I don't care how close a family member you are. I'm here to protect children. So not only will I report you, not only will I report you, but I'm also going to read you, and you best believe that there will be no coming back together, no meetings of the minds until you get your mind right and that child is properly protected and provided for. So it's a lot of things I feel like we are not doing as human beings. I feel like we have a tendency to say everything that we want behind closed doors. Like, you know, I feel like people have all these platforms and these aren't the conversations that are being had. It's disturbing on so many levels for me that somebody could even get to this level And not a single person. I know he has a mother. I know he has a sister. I know he has a brother who has daughters. I know that these people are a part of his family. I know he has friends who have daughters. And I know that they see what he has done. Right? Like, there is no way that this couple could gather support from people that are close to them in proximity, filially. No, but for some reason, this society, our society that is so lost, that stands for absolutely nothing but follows everything. We would stand for something like this. This shit happens. We stand against bigamy, polygamous marriages among consenting adults who are not related. Right? There are no filial relation or blood relation, right? Filial is family, whether it's by blood or not, just to make sure I clarify that for you. But you're going to let two people that are filially related, but just technically not blood related, but we really don't know because they ain't do no blood test. So we don't know. If the mom is a drug addict and he was with her, that child was small in that picture. So she's a small child. He could be the father. Who knows? Says he's known that child since she was 2 years old. That situation is sick. Yes. And possibly before then. Like, I do not play. Like, I'm telling you, I've had people that I've been friends with and we are no longer friends. I don't believe in you. If you're truly a friend, what you do is you point out behaviors in your friend that are flawed, that could lead to the detriment of them and their children, like literally. And I've done it before. And I don't have a problem with doing it again. Like, I stand firm on the things that I believe in. And I think that we've got to become that society of people again, because I feel like we're no longer that. Women, wake up. You are your children's fail-safe. You are your children's fail-safe. Okay? This. Oh, this is, by the way, you guys, this is my husband and me when I was a baby. Yeah, correction. When I was a baby. Who does that? Who does that? What, is this the picture that's up on the mantelpiece? Is this the picture that's on the wall in your living room? Like, this is us then and this is us now. Is that what you're doing? Where is this ever okay? But like she said, she don't give a damn about any of our opinions.
Me and my husband ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't give two fucks at that, not even one, about y'all opinions. Y'all on here talking about, oh, I'm just stating my opinion. It don't mean shit to us. So why the fuck waste your time and energy and your motherfucking time out of the day and your life to sit up here and keep on saying it? That's your opinion. We don't care. At the end of the day, everything is done. We're legally motherfucking married. I'm 18. I'm grown now.
Ma'am, wake up. Let me make this clear. This is what I really want to make clear. We have just prosecuted, as a nation of people, and Black people. Let me give you guys a little bit of something, okay? Black people, Black women just stood behind all of these Black women who Me Too'd, and young Black men who Me Too'd R. Kelly and locked his ass up. I got news for you, sweetheart. You have direct evidence in your custody, in his custody, that he has committed statutory rape. And the statutes of limitation are like, I think the minimal in each state is about 7 years. You're 18. Hello? So anybody with her first name, last name, real first name, last name, government, that lives in that state, let's get it started. That's the solution. The reality is this man is a potential threat to any child that she is bore from her body into this world that is his child or anybody else's. We don't know if she was the first victim or many. That's where it stops. He can still go to jail. And I'm glad that you felt it important for you to jump on social media and make this video, because this is confirmation that he's committed the crime that he's committed. And his okaying and cheerleading in the background, that can also be used as evidence as well. Welcome to real life. So once we start lobbying behind the prosecution of cases like this, potentially this type of behavior will stop. But we have to first start doing it from inside of our community. We can't expect law enforcement to take the action and do stuff on their end, but we have to be the people to advocate. So I'm curious as to where is her mother, grandmother, auntie, cousin, brother, uncle, grandfather, all of these men that are in her life that realize over the course of this last 2 years, these people have a child together, right? Like, nobody called CPS? That's what's wrong with us. It's us. She probably have. But guess what? And even if another family member adopted her, someone can make the report against that family member. Somebody can make the report against the mother. Somebody could have made this report in the last 2 years. There is absolutely no way that this girl had a baby by a grown man and ended up marrying him. It's no way. I don't believe that. So the thing is, if R. Kelly did this to a family member or a child that was his, I would definitely have a problem with it. R. Kelly had sexual relations with girls who at the time were 17 at the youngest in this last case, okay? And she was within, I don't even think they said she had sex. She met him at 17. She had 4 days before her birthday. So that's not the same thing as him having sex with a little girl and grooming her from the young age of 2 all the way up to 14, 15, when we know for sure he's impregnated her. Okay. That's a whole nother situation. Apples and oranges, literally. What I would like to see is this man prosecuted. Period. If you have the information, as a matter of fact, to his first name, last name, or her first name, last name, just get that to me and I'll take care of the rest. What I will not deal with is this. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. You know, the thing is, most pedophiles tread carefully. Most sexual predators, they tread carefully, very lightly. I mean, he was careful and he wouldn't allow his face to be shown, but we see his arm. There is voice recognition. And Dana, DNA is a hell of a goddamn aid. So the thing is, I really just don't understand. I don't understand how people could stand by the waysides and allow this type of stuff to happen, you guys. And to the Tough Love podcast, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sending me this. Although it was definitely a trigger for me because of past encounters where I've seen those red flags that I talked about in the very beginning of the video. I just feel like, ew, it's a lot. I just feel like certain people certain people. Mr. Brooks, you're behind the margin, okay? You're gonna have to go back and rewind and play this thing from the beginning, but it's not really a long live. I just I'm disgusted. And actually this happened in your state. So these your people. Do you think her child should be taken away? I think that's contingent upon a lot of things. I think that at this point she can't contract for a child's safety if she continues to have him in the home with the child. I'm just going by the legal components of it as a CASA. Um, but when we think about the long-term detriment that happens to children, um, it's better for it's better for her to remain in the home with the child and services to be provided, while she has the child. But if that can't happen, it's they definitely need to get somebody, a family, what do we call it? Foster care with a family member, family adult caregiver for the child, so that she can have more supervised access to the child during the time while they lock his ass up. So they're in Jacksonville. Oh my God. That is just crazy. You know what? Here's the thing. So there are certain things that are federal crimes, right? If it can be proven that this man has a particular fancy for young people and they set up the proper surveillance, it'll definitely be prosecuted. Because and there was just that was in Florida too. You guys aren't watching these trafficking cases come down? They're not playing. The feds are not playing. So essentially, it's ways around it. Said the mother knew the girl I was talking to was underage, and the mother said nothing 2 weeks later. Wait, underage by how much? Oh my God, that's different. That's different. If she couldn't have been that much underage if she was dating. Hold on, we're talking about this. We're talking about he was her daddy at some point. Okay, he was her daddy at some point, and he married her. Like there is a whole nother level to this. So slightly being underage when a person, because I talked about the age gap, is not my concern really. Okay, the age gap is not my concern. The fact that you raised this child, you molded, shaped, cultivated this child, and then started having sex. He didn't just step into her life before she was 18, at 16 or 17. He was obviously having sex with this young girl before she ever entered her late teens into adulthood, right? So they're 18. She's 18 now, right? I wouldn't have a problem with her marrying this man at 18. If she had met him at some bar, right? And she's 18, they fell in love, blah, 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 they got married. I don't give a fuck how old he is. Okay. What I care about is the fact that you raised this child, this human. And then after raising this human, you stuck your penis inside of it. While raising this human, you stuck your penis inside of it. So she was pregnant and at 15, had the child at 16. I don't care if he was 10 years older than her. He could have been 10 years older than her and dating her mom. And her mom liked them young, right? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. The fact that you raised a child and then at some point you thought it was befitting for you to stick your penis inside of that child, yeah, I got a problem with that. Yeah, dating sites are like, I think they're helpful because you can weed out the drama, the craziness, but I don't know. So 10 years between you and that girl, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, depending on what her age was. She could have been 17. What are you going to do? If she's 17, to me, there's not a whole bunch of difference between 17 and 18. So that's why I feel like there has to be, I don't know, maybe they do need to move the age of consent up to 25. Maybe I'll feel better about having that conversation because I feel like, in Florida, they are no godparents if you fuck with the mom. They tell you that's your god. But that's a whole daddy. That's a whole dad. That's a whole father. Like you raising that kid. Like that's disgusting. It really is. It's disgusting to me. Predatory behavior, period. And I feel like women, we've got to make better choices. I say we because I have a vagina just like you guys do. I was born with one, you know what I mean? So it comes with responsibility. You have to be responsible with your vagina. Where it goes, what you do with it. There are certain things that young children, because they have a vagina and they can't protect themselves, you're responsible for protecting them. It's just, she was 16. You know, it takes 10 months to have a child. If her child was born at the beginning of the year and she was 16 for less than 10 months, when she had the child, she was definitely pregnant at 15. 40 weeks is a pregnancy. 40 of them. And I'm guaranteeing you that wasn't their first time. I'm just saying. It's disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me that society, not these people, it's the society that we live in. It's disgusting that society would allow something like this to happen under the watchful eye of CPS. That's the really disgusting part for me. So you take this kid from her mother, who is a druggie, to do what? To do what? To do what exactly? You guys, I don't know. Just continue to tell me what it is that you guys feel about this. Share your perspectives with me. Feel free to use this and do whatever it is you're going to do with it or whatever. I really just discuss it. But if you know her personal information, please share that with me. You guys are free to send me an email, doclqj@gmail.com, DOCLQJ, Lima Queen Jack @gmail. So that is all that I have, you guys. This story, this whole mess, I'm not for it. Like I said, like I'm just curious as to what she's doing. Like, what are we saying? Are we printing out this photo right here and saying, hey, this is my husband and I when I was a baby? Thanksgiving conversation starter? I don't know. Like, that's disgusting. It just is. It's very distasteful. And for the family that this girl comes from, what kind of people are you? What kind of people are you? What are your values? I'm just curious about that. Somebody tag them in this. Do that. Do that for me. That's all I've got, you guys. See you guys later. Bye.
Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bonnet. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Phenomenon. I said it.